When it comes to buying something that lasts a long time, there are things that we purchase not knowing how long that will be in our life. This bag I bought 40 years ago in Mexico City. I had travelled from the south of the country where I'd lived for a year, and I spent almost 2 months in Mexico City teaching English, making new friends and learning about the city centre. And I bought this bag for what was then about £10, and it had seemed to me as a student quite a huge and significant purchase, but my goodness, I was wrong. This bag has served me incredibly well for 40 years. It's beautifully made in leather. It's got a strong brass zip, which is aged really nicely over the years, and I still use it every time I leave the house and go into the city centre, or whether I'm in our local neighbourhood, just going to a coffee shop to work on maybe a pen and ink edit of a manuscript, or perhaps I'm taking with me, as well as this, I'm taking my iPad and the Logitech keyboard, or I may take with me my standard A5 journal and do some work in that, some note taking. Maybe I'll do some drawings, but I'll just have the two with me as perhaps an optimum carry if I'm not working on a manuscript digitally, if I'm not taking my iPad and my keyboard, or if I'm going to the library. Sometimes I'll take these and the addition will be my MacBook Air or an Alpha Smart Neo. What do you use as your daily carry? So first of all, if it's a gorgeous day, which it often is here in Mexico City, a pair of sunglasses. I like to have a bit of variety in the pens that I use. So here I've got a black ink, fine nibbed Faber-Castell fountain pen. It's a very simple, easy to use device, very cheap. I think it cost me £7 or £8 over at the art gallery in Saltaire. And that comes with a couple of international cartridges, so that I've always got a spare cartridge just in case I have that fear that I'm going to run out of ink. It rarely happens, but there's the opportunity. I also carry with me a biro, and this is my very trusted and tried and tested cross-century biro that I've had since I was 13 years old. I guess that means that I like to hang on to and carry the things that have served me well and continue to do so. You can see a few dints and dings in this. A few times, maybe 15 years ago, I had dropped it overnight in the snow outside the house, and I'd perhaps driven over it a day or two later, not realising it was in the snow. So the gravel from the drive has marked the pen a few times. And I've got plenty of war stories about this pen. Thank you, AT Cross & Co, for producing amazing pieces of writing equipment or writing tools for you and I. Let's have a look at this pouch. It has multiple pockets. On the outside, I've got a little solar calculator and a cash pocket for keeping a few coins in. That's handy when I'm out and about and I just want to get a coffee. A zip pouch at the front where I can keep tickets and rail cards or metro cards. I've also got a big side pocket here, and I tend to keep post-it notes for potential use. These are great, and in case I want to move ideas around, I can take out the post-it note, stick it on a coffee table where I'm working, and make sense of the ideas as they come to me. Opening this zip, which goes around 3 sides of the bag, I have a lot more space. I don't know about you, but I love to have a little red pen with me so that I can tick off projects or tasks that I've set for myself. But in here, I've got a few pockets for keeping cash notes, a metro card, an ID card, and a bank debit card. But in here, I've also got an A6 notebook, and these can interchange. This is quite a thick A6 notebook, but I can also, and sometimes I will, if I'm going to perhaps an event with my wife and I don't want to carry a big notebook because I'm there to be entertained or to watch a concert or to have dinner with friends, and I don't need that. What I'll have then is something as simple as this little moleskin notebook. This one is blank. I get these in little packs of 3. They're quite expensive relative to what they offer, but they're worth it because the quality of the paper is so good. So sometimes I'll carry that thin moleskin instead of something which has the thickness of this Estrella A6 notebook. But an A6 notebook serves me really well. I'm just going to put this back in here so that you can see how that works. I get these from my local stationery store. In our case, it's an Office Depot, and these cost me just under £5. But it's a great A6 booklet. It's got a kind of faux leather feeling to it, beautifully nice and soft. The paper quality is good, and I use it for note-taking and the ideas that I have. So these are my notes of things that are needed to be done or accomplished over the course of this particular week, starting today. And I made these notes yesterday, as I normally do, on a Sunday evening, just getting ready for the week ahead. If you see the different colours of ink for tasks, the W is for writing, the fin is for financial or money-related tasks, and the YT, no surprises there, that's for YouTube activity. What else have I got? And here I've got some family events, so those are in blue. And again, more for writing and YouTube and financial. The red pen might be an excessive carry, but I really like it. It's a brush point pen, it's really beautiful. Again, it's by Faber-Castell. It's simply called a Pitt Artist Pen, Deep Scarlet, this particular colour. And it's nice to have that, just to tick off, as you can see, I've done with some of the tasks here. So for example, I've looked at a best day for recording my city and walkabout video. So I've put that down as a Tuesday, and I've put that in the diary for the rest of February. And let's see how that goes and then review it as we go into March. I've also looked at different days for my Faceless channel videos and my Nick Sturgeon Books videos. And then various different things. So for example, trips down to London later in the year. But I've also got, and this relates to the writing category, I've got some ink edits to finish on a book which I was discussing the cover with today with Helen, the cover designer. I sent some of the artwork for the initial cover draft ideas to friends in Nottingham Writing Studio and also to other author friends in Yorkshire. And we just looked together online this weekend at their perspectives and their initial reactions to the covers and the design work. So I've gone back to Helen, we've clarified a couple of ideas on that, and I'm fairly confident that on Monday next week, and I'll put that in the diary, I'll transfer it from here and put it into my anchor journal, I'm confident that we'll get some good results with the final cover. The other comments here that I've ticked off were about a tenant moving into a property and things related to that. But if we look at the W's here for writer, I've got an ink edit happening tomorrow of chapters 5, 6 and 7 on the new book. And then I've put a couple of similar entries in for 2 more blocks of chapter editing. I've tried several times to spend 6 or 7 hours doing a pen and ink edit of a manuscript, and I just can't do it. The idea that I would sit with maybe 140, 150 pages of A4 and make progress through all of that in a day, that's not possible for me. I just don't have that attention span. So I break it down into small items, I put them on my checklist, and then I can work through those. But that little simple process for me works really well, and that's all I need to plan the main events in a week. Some of these will transfer to the anchor journal, to the diary, others won't necessarily. But that works really well. It might be that I use this everyday carry pouch and I take it with me out to a coffee shop, but I'll also use these notes that I've shown in a previous video. These are from the Franklin Covey Company. They're called weekly compass cards. I tend to focus on the 4 roles of family, YouTube, writer and finance. And so I've cut these down and removed the sections that I don't actually use. But these are easy to carry, and these will always go with me from the house out to a coffee shop or out to the library if that's where I'm working. Sometimes I'll take this with me. I did mention it earlier at the start of the video, and I will use this sometimes to capture information that relates to what goes in the small A6 notebook for my checklists. But for example, last week on the Friday, I went into town and I recorded 4 videos over the course of 2.5 hours, just choosing content for the Faceless channel, but also for Nick Sturgeon Books. and then just playing around and drawing some of the skylines and the roof areas that I saw. But again, I'm using this book, like I am with this one, to tick off ideas on my checklist and to see that I'm making progress with my creative endeavors. But here I'm tracking the videos that I recorded, and then I will use the notes here to transfer the details of these, and I'll allocate a date to when these are published up to YouTube. One of them I've already published. I watched an amazing video several times in one of the old convent buildings that's now been converted into an art gallery, and that gave me a 9-minute video which I'm going to upload to the Faceless channel, but I have already uploaded it to Nick Sturgeon Books. And there we have it, a beautiful item that's lasted me multiple years and continues to serve me in different guises with a different variety of pens over the years. I can use it with different types of notebook. I can put various pens and belongings in that and take this with me as a regular daily carry. This is all I need to keep myself on track as a writer, as a creative person, and just doing the things that allow me to be happy and fulfilled, and carrying them in one simple bag. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know what it is that you use as a daily carry, the sorts of pens that you like to use on a regular basis out and about from home, or when you're at home and these are your familiar go-to belongings, notebooks, pens, pouches or bags. Let me know what you use, why you use them, and the value and the benefits you get from tracking your things that matter to you.